Good morning, everyone. I'm not going to turn it around because they're going to see me later anyway. Chapter 3, Part 1, Conjugal Love. Look at this, you guys. My sister-in-law got that from her daughter for Mother's Day. Look how beautiful. Oh, it's grown. It's finally starting to kind of climb up here. It's a tropical plant, which means I'm going to have to take that inside once it gets cold. Then our Rose of Sharon finally is blooming, and it's got tons of blooms on it everywhere. Look at this. I mean, they're coming. They're going to come. They're going to come out. They're going to come out. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. I just love it on how, look at the bees. Just love this loofah here. Look at that. Bumblebees. Hi, guys. And they don't bother you at all. Oh, look, there's a little one. Oh, that could be a honeybee. Look at that. Yeah. Give them the environment that they want, need love. You want to have a problem with honeybees? Look at that. The Jerusalem artichoke just growing into the sky. Amazing vegetable. First of all, it has these beautiful little, after my sunflowers are done, they come out and they're like yellow daisies up into the sky. And the vegetables in the ground, they're tubers, just like, kind of like a potato. It does taste different than a potato. And you can leave them in all winter long and just go and get them as you need them. And they are as fresh can be. Perfect. The elephant ears, remember I told you that too. They're edible. The bulbs are edible. And I think I'm just about getting enough. Look at the size of that leaf. Yeah. That's I'm going to have that as a birthday present for my from my grandson, who's going to turn 5, 6, I think. No. Oh. My mind's going. And because elephant ears, right? Boys get in trouble a lot. Their ears just get longer and longer the more they get in trouble. So I got him one on the porch here. I'm going to give him for his birthday and say, look, you take good care of this plant. And there it is. See you guys? And remember, stay out of trouble. Listen to your parents, right? Yeah. So anyway, here's some of my last tomatoes growing out of this tiny little pot here. I can't believe how big that thing got. I didn't even think it would make it. I just stuck it in there hoping. I had a little spider. Yep. So anyway, here are my late potatoes, fall potatoes. Anywho, but it's just teeming with new colors. It's like one plant kind of dies down, and the next, here you go. This is all thanks to my sister-in-law, Jan. These are California poppies in all kind of different colors, not just orange. That's thanks to my sister-in-law, because she said, let's get some flowers going. I said, flowers? All I do is sunflowers. That's what I do. And it made a nice difference. Yes. All right, let's go. The boys are ready, and the girls are ready. Look at the beautiful picture. Oh. Hi, Sage. Hi, boy. Hi. Hi, you. You're always right there. He's so lovable. He's just so lovable. I just love you too. Yep. Okay. Conjugal love. You know, in many ways we can learn from the principles of creation. Hi, you. Yeah, you smelling it? Yeah? Did you get into trouble last night? No, that's not for you. That's for the piggies. Look at that. I got to take care of all that today. this is the day. Oh, here are the Cushals. They're doing really well. Oh, see, that's a vegetable, a squash that you can keep all winter long just in a cool place, and by the time spring hits, you'll still have some. Butternut squash, pumpkins, all the same. They, you can store them like that, as you can apples, for example. And, and you don't need to process them at all. Oh, this is got a little problem going on here. Ugh. Wear and tear, we call it. That's one thing on a farm, you're just never done. You gotta go around, fix things, this and that. Conjugal love. So, what's conjugal love? You guys know? It's the love between a man and a woman. And yeah, so let's get this out of the way, because a lot of people know I'm divorced. I didn't make it. I was only married once. And I'd say the partners that I had all through my life, when it came to an intimate one, I can count on one hand. Well, so that was my choice. So in any case, there's the one thing I hear. Well, it takes two to tango. Really? Ah. Well, I thought I was doing the tango pretty good. All right, I know what it means. And I'm sure there are many people out there, including myself, who have raked their brain trying to figure out, what did I do so wrong? What did I do? I never did that with my children. But I did do that when it came to my marriage. What did I do so wrong? And I couldn't come up with a good enough answer. So, does it take two to tango? Yeah, it takes two to tango together towards good in a marriage. When, and I'm going to give that in this first part of chapter 3 as my own experiences. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to just put blame on. I'm not going to do that, because we're all individuals to begin with when it comes down to it. Right? Then the desires, there are 3 growth stages. Okay? One is, the first one is to just grow as a child. Then when you've done that and you mature physically as well, then, and spiritually, then you become fruitful and multiply. And when you do that, then you continue to mature and grow spiritually, and you grow towards the perfection stage, which is what? Old age, wisdom. Wisdom. Wisdom, even though we call it that sometimes, very rarely comes out of a child. Okay? Or clothes. Or this, it just doesn't. But, there is something to it, but it is, as you are allowed, manage to, your merits allow you to stay alive long enough to gain wisdom and knowledge. And you become automatically a teacher. Oh, and guess what? A Messiah. Interesting. We are all created in God's image. What does that actually mean? All right. So, when I met my husband, I had this overwhelming, I did not know my husband very well. Yep, what did I say yesterday? Or in the last part of parental love? When I met my husband, my state of mind at the time, I was 21, I am never going to get married and I will never have children. If I do get married, if, I will only do that once. And I will never, ever have my children be a part of a broken home. One could say I failed. I guess I failed. I failed my own, okay. It takes two to tango. When I met my husband, I had this overwhelming desire suddenly. And I knew it was coming from spirit world. To get married and have children. I remember sitting on the bench with my husband, and we weren't married at the time, and I looked at him and going, God sent me to this man. I have to marry this man, and I have to have children with this man. That was that. That was absolutely it. When I look back on it now, well, was that? No, I know I did the right thing. I absolutely know. So the rest of it, where I'm getting to, it takes two to tango. I, to this day, know with 100% absoluteness that he, my husband, now ex-husband, I still call him my husband, another one, so, was the man meant for me. 100% meant for me. It takes two to tango. The problem was that in his mind, in his actions, in his heart, I was not the woman meant for him. That's all I can say to that. That is how I realized, cut all this other stuff out. You know, in your heart to mind, what your marriage meant and what it produced. 4 exceptionally wonderful children who have their ups and downs, still have their ups and downs, but when it comes down to it, they are troopers out there. Still growing, maturing, and learning spiritual and physically. Oh, physically, they're all grown and this and that thing. Now I have grandchildren. All of my grandchildren I have spent time with. Exceptional children. I would never want to deprive the world of them because I could go back in time and decide not to marry the man I felt was God-given to me. So, that is for everyone that like wondering, well, she just, well, there may be more to it, but how's that going to change anything in your situation, this, that? All I'm saying is, does it take two to tango? Yes, and it takes them to tango 100% in unison. So I'm taking that in the positive, rather than what it takes to the tango means to many people out there. Because the tango is a beautiful, wonderful dance of unity, and it is suddenly, with certain other ways of how people want to describe that, pulled into an area where it does not belong, in the negative. Right? Yes. Okay, so conjugal relationship, according to God's will, is between a man and a woman. A man and a woman who 100% commit to each other, to grow with each other in the loving relationship of being fruitful and multiplying. Woo! What a surprise. So, yeah, but what? When a conjugal relationship is executed properly between a man and a woman, then the expectations should always be a child. Always. And the perk coming with that, in a way how I look at it, is to ensure that is the beautiful, ecstatic crescendo that happens during the act of love between a man and a woman. It's incredible. The sad thing is that over time, and we find that in the Bible as well, as early as the Old Testament, as early as just about in Genesis, I guess. The one thing that I've noticed between the relationship of Adam and Eve, even though there weren't any extra wives around. Interesting. So where did that all start? That men suddenly have mistresses, concubines, this and that. Well, it says in the Bible, if your brother's wife is left as a widow, then you take her in. Okay, does that mean that, okay, so you have relatives that have a hard time because they get widowed, got kids at that time, probably going to be very difficult for them to, a widow with children, to survive on their own because they didn't have the welfare programs and this now. Okay, right? You get my drift? So you get taken in by your family. Preferably a male figure, like a brother or a father-in-law. Now, wait a minute. Does that mean then automatically that the men get to have access to the woman? Interesting. But at some point, that happened. And it got accepted. But that was not the beginning of the principles of love. That was not God's plan. In the New Testament, Jesus says, that you commit to one man and you commit to one woman. That's it, for life. That's it. So if you're a Christian and you want to follow Jesus' words, which Jesus is your Savior, Jesus is that and Jesus is this, then how come you're, as a man or a woman, you're not following his word? How come it is, especially when it comes to the principles of love and a conjugal relationship between a man and a woman, we conveniently pick out what suits us best? Not until about 20 years ago or so, in the Catholic Church, if you were divorced, you could go and get communion. Well, that was a bad thing. It is. Jesus never said that you couldn't have communion after that. But they made a point of saying, don't get divorced. Something's going to be taken away from you. So was that the right way to do that? Well, I'm not going to go and judge them. You know, they do whatever they want. But God had a 100% viable plan for the continuation of humankind. And with the principles of love that we are so privileged with, what have we done with them? Yeah. So what do we do? So we know. So another thing with kings and emperors, and as I said, it seems like you don't have to be a king or an emperor. I mean, what do we see in the news more often than not is the abuse of the power of love when it comes to politicians, famous people, common people. Where does it not exist? Where does it not exist? After it was accepted that sharing one dude between I don't know how many women was just fine, and it just became a part of religions and a part of culture and a part of who knows what. People just, oh gosh, find me more excuses, okay? It didn't stop there. That's not where it stopped. Suddenly, that wasn't good enough anymore. And the younger the girls, the better. Oh, this is a thing that is going rampant all around the world. All around the world. I talked to a friend not too long ago, a couple of days ago, and she said something about, it talked about in another country, not the one she lives in now, about the abuse of girls and this and that. And I said, why are you talking about them? Knowing full well that where you live, there's plenty of that going on in your main city where guys can go on vacation and do what? To young girls. Oftentimes no more than 10 years old. Or younger. Legally. Nobody's stopping them. I must assume it's legal. Okay? Happens in many, many countries around the world. Many of them. Alright, so that should be one of our main concerns out there. So anyway, well, if you happen to not want to engage in, physical, this, that, well, then there's always what industry available to you. It's pretty sick. Widely accepted. Widely accepted. All around the world. I remember I could not have been more than 8, 9 years old, went to the kiosk in Switzerland, and they have this whole row of magazines, and I could just, oh wow, this looks good, now maybe I'll look like that. Naked, just about naked women in front of these sex magazines. Oh, they were all right there. No restrictions. Okay, I probably would not have been able to buy one, but I could definitely go and look through it if I would wanted to. I didn't. Then they had this rack of romance novels. I love to read. So I thought, oh, I'll check that out. And I started reading and going, whoa, what are they doing? It was so explicit. I remember I put the book back and I'm going, and I was kind of, well, I guess I just kind of got my sex education here. No one stopped me from looking at these books. That's in Switzerland. Switzerland's very open with all that stuff. Very sad. Right there. It's very popular all over the world. Very sought after all over the world. And that is why women get kidnapped, little girls, little boys get kidnapped for the sick desires and the principles of love of the people. People, we have a problem when it comes to conjugal love. And it's getting worse. Well, so what? If you're a Christian out there, any religion out there, where you got a book and you read out of it, there's got to be some good guidance when it comes to that in it. Then stick with that. Or stop pretending that you believe in a God or Jesus or whatever. Okay? As far as I know, Buddha out there, though I have to say personally, why did he not stay where he was at and become a proper king or emperor, right? Or like a pharaoh or something, right? Or whatever they called him there. Okay, he wasn't from Egypt. And make life better for his people after he realized, oh, okay, well, no, he went and he sat under a tree for the next so many gazillion years, eating nothing, and I guess not drinking anything, and I'm going, yeah, that never happened, I guarantee you that. So, doing what? And then they wrote a whole book or a whole thing around it. Suddenly there was all this, right? An interesting thing, though, as far as I know, Buddha ended up as skinny as a rail, right? The statues that you see are fatter than fat. He's a fatter than fat. He's got that big old belly, and that. It is a joke. This is a joke, right? This is a joke. Yet people are following this stuff. So, I guess that in the Bible, due to the fact that we are confronted in it, with it, so often, that men had all them concubines and whatever, who a lot of them, due to jealousy and I don't know what, got killed by other concubines or main wives or whatever. We kind of just accepted that, rather than going, hey, wait a minute, what? Then why did God not take 2 or 3 ribs from Adam? I'm sure if he kind of would have got one here, one there, and give him 3 wives, 3 girls to play with, grow up with, and then take 3 girls as wives, why didn't God do that? Huh? Now suddenly, then it goes on, and suddenly people, they became more prosperous. They became more successful with certain things, this and that. Oh, and they started war too at the time. So now, someone out there, no doubt men, decided that we're going to change those principles of love. We're going to change the one man and one woman for eternity. We're going to change that. Because we can. And what did I say? Freedom of will. You make the choice. God's not going to come and punish you for that. He won't. It's your choice that you're making. You need to know if you're doing right or wrong in that area. So, having said that, when you decide it is time to find a wife or a husband, why are people letting their hormones decide that for them? I find that often when people tell me their stories, oh, okay, so your hormones decided, not you. Your hormones decide. And then people wonder why things don't work out, right? In certain areas. Now again, I told you my story. I think the main thing, this is chapter 1, that we have to get back to is, this is the main thing. One man and one woman. That's it. And you make sure you get to know someone long enough to know who they actually are. I've seen also in couples wonderful healings going on. But that's because the families supported them. The families encouraged them. The families pointed out the good points about each one of them. Because sadly, in-laws, they can be poison in a relationship between a man and a woman. Poison, absolute poison. And sadly, again, when the foundation isn't strong enough in a conjugal relationship, in a marriage between a man and a woman, then peer pressure from the in-laws, this will make a difference, will turn a spouse against the other. It's very sad. It's very sad. Yes. Okay. Conjugal love, part 1. Chapter 3, part 1. The beginning of conjugal love is very, very important. When Adam and Eve in the garden grew up together with the spiritual infused principles of love of God, and we can call them our first ancestors through that. Okay? This doesn't mean they were the first humanoids, all right? Geez, why are people so stuck on things like that? Of course, dear me, in this day and age, shouldn't be so hard to just say, okay, that was 6,000 years ago, maybe 8. It could have been 16,000 years ago. Wait a minute, okay, all right. 60,000, okay, all right. We're going with 6,000 years, that's how it is in the Bible. Does it matter if it was more or less? There was a beginning. No one alive here right now, unless you got a super duper line to spirit world, okay, that for one reason or another, you are privileged or privy of things that I don't even know. I understand the concept of time and space in this world, but the concept of time and space in spirit world is completely different. All right. Too much. So Adam and Eve grow up together as a boy and a girl. Like they weren't siblings, They weren't siblings. And they were taken care of by others besides God. Why was that? Trust. Yeah, there is that. When you really think about it, a lot of things just all tie into each other. Trust. Trust was one thing. God had to have trust in those children. He had to have trust in the caretakers, the angels, in order for that trust to be reciprocated. And when Adam and Eve became teenagers, and we all know how teenagers are, they go from, as a boy, they go from being sloppy, messy, have you taken a shower this week yet, to taking one twice a day. Yeah, that's a pretty good indication they have found the principles of love, per se, in the conjugal. or, all right, hormones waking up. Yeah. Oh, that's just, yeah. Well, no, that's a beautiful thing to happen in a person's life. If they have been taught spiritually to stay strong, right? Or at least the parents try. And so you would think Adam and Eve were the strongest children around because, gosh, what could go wrong? Things can go wrong when you've got serpents around you in your life you are willing to cater to. And that serpent can be a number of things. People, books, magazines, movies, games, gangs, school, just regular peer pressure. And they continue, and of course, in today's world, spirit world as well, continuously whispering in our children's ears. Remember what I said. Good spirit world doesn't influence you, doesn't make you do anything, will not whisper in your ear at any time unless you ask. But negative spirit world will try anything to invade your space without permission, without regard, and try to influence you. That's influence. Always comes from negative spirit world. And guidance always comes from good spirit world. Negative spirit world will not let you choose if they have their say. They are not going to regard your freedom of will. Okay? They're going to inflict, disease your freedom of will, your freedom of choice. Whereas good spirit world will not do that. They completely and 100% adhere to the principles of creation and the principles of love of God. That is it. That's why. Anywho. So here comes Lucifer, the archangel Lucifer, as described as a snake in the Garden of Eden. And angels are male. Okay, so how do we know that? Well, because, again, if Lucifer were a female, she would have been attracted to Adam, not Eve, to begin with. Yeah, so also remember on how Eve, according to the Genesis, was created. Yes. As taken apart from Adam. If females per se, and that would have already existed at that time in humankind, then then he would have created them both separate. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? You got to go through the Bible. You read Genesis and go, okay, what does that actually mean? Because Jesus also said, the disciples going to say, can you explain that a little more? He said, I'm going to explain that to you. It won't make a difference if I tell to the common people these secrets, but I will tell these secrets to you. I think we are at a time now where we're going to have to wake up to the truths out there when it comes to the Bible as well, or anything else that has to do with any kind of religion. The number one thing that we have to understand is that there is only one God, and that is it. That's it. If people out there keep making excuses or keep questioning that, the existence of one God, the Creator, Manitou, Allah, no, not Buddha, then you missed progression. You missed the evolution of the heart to mind of humankind. You missed it. And you're stuck with so many other people who find all kinds of pleasure in unnatural desires, the unnatural desires that they have. And I don't know one of them who's happy. Not one of them. None of them are happy. So Lucifer, so go and check it out. And you're going, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, a little different perspective. No, it's a perspective of the principles of love. Nothing new. So then Lucifer tempts Eve. Eve, who's pretty naive, doesn't really know much, and spiritually, he has her way with her. And sadly, many young girls out there fall prey to false promises and the desire for fame and fortune. And women, that's how we are designed. When it comes to the principles of love, we still have this original feeling and emotion within ourselves. God gave us, grew in us, that trusts men to do the right thing. Right? Yeah. So a lot of young women, girls, fall prey to abuse in the principles of love to men who use that to their advantage. The naivety, I can't say that word. Naive. Don't even try. Naive. Okay. Some words I still can't say. They just won't roll around in my mouth. And then Eve felt, afterwards she realized something went wrong. Something wasn't right. And went to Adam and said, hey, guess what I learned today? Instead of going to God and saying, I think I just did a bad thing. A lot of things started right there, then and there, are still, after thousands and thousands of years, still apparent in ourselves as an individual, in our families, in our other surroundings, in the nation and in the world. It kind of hasn't changed. And why is that? Why is it so hard in a conjugal relationship between a man and a woman to just commit 100% and ride that roller coaster together from A to Z and even beyond until death do us part? Why is that so difficult for us? We have a lot of things out there to say. If you dare to say no, how about it? It is one of the most fundamental evils out there since the beginning, is on how we are not able to commit anymore. Regardless if, when a guy sometimes really gets into the, I have to take care of the family, got to be the head of the household. Sometimes he doesn't have as much time anymore, really works out there, comes home. If then on top of that, the woman nags him and I don't know what, and he has to take care of the kids and he's just tired, more tired than anything. And on top of that, then it exhausts a guy even more. But if the woman's ready for that exhaustion and sees, oh my gosh, he's really trying, and then you have your times to talk. Say, honey, it's okay if you slow down a little bit. Right? Women should remember, you're not the nagging, unhappy counterpart of your husband. You should be the nurturing, loving, cleaning house, taking care of the kids, cooking, washing laundry, having a garden kind of counterpart. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'll have to tell you something about that. Okay. If you're on heart to mind, a woman doesn't need to vote, because the husband will be voting for her as well. Oh, wow. Oh, but gosh. Oh, what? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's unity right there. All right. So, just to bring up one thing, that's it. So why should I go and vote? As a woman, if I have a husband and we're in zinc with each other, we'll both vote for the same thing. That is that. So you can go vote for me. Oh, but yeah, I know. This is not going to go through people's head, but that's how I feel about it. So then the men need to understand that when you get your honey pregnant, she's probably not going to stay the same size. Yeah. From my own experience, yeah, there was no way I was going to starve myself. And I had 4 beautiful, healthy children. I didn't lose my teeth, nor my hair, nor any other limb, or this or that. I had no problems at all. I didn't have no postpartum depression. I didn't have none of that. Oh, well, that doesn't really happen. Yeah, I get it. But still. And the one reason is, boy, I gained the pounds. I lost them again over time. Now I'm in menopause, so I'm pregnant again. You know, I don't really care. I'm just not going to fight in the way my body reacts to certain circumstances. And a woman shouldn't have to worry about their men looking at them differently, or then suddenly go find something better out there, looks better, this or that, while they are having their children, instead of making sure their baby's going to be healthy. They're going to be a healthy mom. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, there's guys out there like that. Yeah, okay, there are. All right, let me know. Oh, I do know 2 or 3 couples around here. Amazing. Oh, just amazing. From beginning to end. But that's rare out there now. Yeah? For all kinds of reasons. So I'm going to leave it at this, at that. Adam and Eve ended up both falling in the principles of love, which means they had a conjugal relationship before they were matured, where then God could be a part of their conjugal relationship. Oh, well, that's gross. No, it's not. Anyone who thinks that way needs to examine what they have been taught and how they're teaching and what they're doing in private when it comes to the principles of love. God should be a part, and he is in every time when a child is created, if you like it or not. If that child is created through lust and irresponsibility, or through absolute love between a man and a woman while they are married and are ready for family, God is there when a child is created. The possibility for a child to be created, and breathes already into the 2 components that meet physically, the spiritual component, that is the 3rd component in the beginning of a child's life. Yeah. Yeah. So if you look around your room when you're executing the act of love, God's most likely there. If a child is meant to be conceived. The other times, probably look around the room, find a whole lot of other spirits. Nasty looking ones. Foul odor. Watch. Eh? You don't think so? Why don't you pay more attention? All right, first part. 10 yellow. I'm not very good at covering things up. Not very good at that. And I want to be a part of God's life. I want him to be a part of my life 100%, not just the 75 I'm willing to give, and the other 25 I need to hide. Yeah. Conjugal love. It's the most amazing, beautiful thing that in the way it works, in the elation that you physically and spiritually get to experience that God has given us. Most beautiful thing. And what have we done with it? I don't think there is more pain circulating spiritually from your heart. There's more pain in adults and children than in the misuse of the principles of love. Misuse, abuse of the principles of love. Do people pay any attention to that at all? I say this again and again. Please don't cuss and curse. Think of what you're doing to the weakest in our society, the children. The foul air, the negative energy that creates. because all these cuss words and foul language, this is usually connected to the principles of love, the act of love, or the product of love. Whoever came up with the word bastard, who came up with that? Knowing what it means. Describing a child. Huh? Oh, you said the word. In the way that I'm using this word to make sure if I said the B word, you could come up with all kinds of stuff. I already know that. So, no, I have been given permission to point something like that out with. I will not say some of the other words. But this one is of great concern and used to an extent that is so damaging to children out there. Yet we're so thoughtless when it comes to that. So thoughtless. And again and again and again. Please, can you not speak like that? Talk like that. Anyway, make sure that if you are a friend of mine, if I come across a cuss word, either in your post or in your comments, I will unfriend you. Unless you PM me and say, I'm cleaning this up, so please. But otherwise, no, I can't. I'm not going to have that 25% give and take with anyone. I don't want it. Period. That's how I make a stand. For God, for the principles of love, for the pure, wonderful conjugal relationship between a man and a woman, and marriage, and then family. It takes time, I know that. But at least start somewhere. It's taken me a long time. I still have people come on my porch and, okay, and then I've gone, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Give me sorry. Give me a tooth for every one of them words. Right? Okay. All right. God's so patient with us, so I have to be as well, all right? Yes. Okay. All right. So this is the first part. Oh my gosh, I probably could go on and on and on and on, and I should. So, but this is enough for today. I got to finish up here. I get stuck in front of here and then, yeah. Okay. All right. God's love and blessings always. And I will talk to you. Chapter 3, Part 2 of Conjugal Love next time. Bye, everyone. God's love and blessings always.